Hi YouTube, this is kind of a repeated tutorial, I know, but I had a customer who came in today and had an idea for decoration for her house, but didn't know how to make the candles. So for April, I told her that I would put up a new tutorial for it, and anyway, I'm going to, as soon as I can figure out how to get these apart. It's candle making, and basically it's decorating candles, not making candles. Making candles is something totally different, and if you're looking for that, that's something you're going to have to go to someone else for. There are 2 or 3 different ways to make these candles. I'm going to show you just one, really. And then you can take your imagination and run wild with it. Basically what you do is you get a napkin or an image that you printed from your computer on regular paper, whatever you like, print it out, and then cut it out. And I'm going to use this one because this is my favorite napkin ever. It says, "Today I will think evil thoughts and try not to say them out loud." And it's got like a little vintage looking chick on it. So I'm going to use her. Anyway, you cut the image out, and if you're using a napkin, you want to make sure that you've got it down to the first ply, which is sometimes easier said than done, especially when you're filming. For some reason it doesn't want to work when you want it to. And this one just doesn't want to work for me today. I don't know why. Okay, so you take off the second ply, which is what makes it thicker, and you just get rid of that. Or you use it to clean up, or whatever you want to do. Measure it up and make sure that it'll cover where you want it to cover. Now the safest way to do this is to wrap this in wax paper, which I'll show you that way because I did say I was going to give you a tutorial. Wrap it tight so that you can hold it. Now I do believe that I told you that you could use a hair dryer, which I'm sure that you can. I don't. I use a tool called a heat gun. It's an embossing tool. You can get them at Michael's. You can get them anywhere you want to. I think that I got mine. I have 3 or 4 of them actually. I got mine. One of them I got at Joann's. One of them I got at Hobby Lobby, and the other one I got at a yard sale. Why do I need 3? Because my craft room used to be in boxes, and I would forget which box I put it in. So, anyway, you want to make sure that the candle is lined up as well as you can get it. Then hold it as tight as possible with the wax paper. Because the tighter it is, the more you can see what it's doing underneath. Now, I know Key does it freehand. She doesn't hold the wax paper to it. I do. We're going to give it a minute to heat up, and then we're just going to heat the wax. know if you can see that or not, but the wax is melting underneath. And then I like to roll it while it's still hot after every section. Make sure that I don't get bubbles in there. Okay, I'm burning my fingers, so I'm going to switch it around to where my thumb is over there. Alright, when you can clearly see the image on the other side of your wax paper, you should be able to just roll it out. And there you have it. You've got your candle, your image on your candle. Now, this candle was a very cheap one and it ran a little bit. So I'm just going to rub across the sides and across the top to remove all that excess wax. And I think that I want it prettier because I do think that I'm going to use this one for the decoration in my bedroom for another project that I'm doing, you guys. Stay tuned for that one. I haven't announced it yet. So I'm going to take the copper tone flowers that I was using earlier or on another project that I should also be posting tonight. I'm going to take those copper tone flowers. This side doesn't really have a lot of space. Let's see. Like that copper one there. I don't plan anything out before I do it. I just do things and hope that it turns out okay. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I take it apart and redo it. Sometimes I'm perfectly happy with it the way that it is. The very first time I do that, that's so rare, it's not funny. So let's see. I'm going with this here. And this one here. And that there. What do you think? I think so. So I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue to the back of these. Probably not a great idea to stick hot glue on a candle, but I'm going to do it anyway. Place that there. You want your candle to be able to stand up, so you can't put it down too far. Place that one there. I don't want it to stick out in the front, so I'm going to add some hot glue here. And stick it down. Some hot glue here. Oh, it just slides right across the candle. Oh, isn't that nice? Stick it down. And obviously you wouldn't burn these because you're putting paper and fabric. We're putting paper and fabric onto a candle, so you wouldn't burn these. They're just for decoration. But there we go. That's how you decorate a candle. So hope that helped you, April. And you could also stick things like bling or lace or anything else that you wanted to on there. That's it. Have a great night, guys. Alright, the next technique I'm going to show you is inlaying metal into a candle. How I do this is I choose my metal, and for this I'm going to use coins from a belly dance scarf, my candle, and I'm going to use an earring that I chose that I like. The first thing that I did was I took my earring and I pressed it until it was kind of rounded so that it will sit flat onto the candle, like so. Not completely flat, but it'll fit sort of flat. First thing we're going to do is we're going to work with coins. As you can see, I've already started it so that I can be finished with this sometime tonight. Basically what you do is you really kind of want to have more than one hand, or more than two sets, or more than two sets. No, you want two sets of hands if you can. If you can't, you're only one person, that's fine, but you're going to have lumps like this that you're going to have to try to work out later, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to heat it twice if you only have one set of hands. Take your handy dandy heat tool, get it hot, and you heat the wax. And very quickly, lay down your metal piece. And then heat it again, and press in your metal piece. Alright? And then you repeat until there are no more blank spaces. Heat, lay down, heat again, push in. Alright? So you got this part done, where you have all your coins laid out, or whatever metal piece that you're using, laid out onto your candle. Now you've got lumpy parts, so you want to get rid of those as much as you can. It's not going to be perfect because this is a handmade candle, y'all. And what I'm going to do to get the lumps out is, one, some of mine are not sticking, so I'm going to have to reheat them anyway. I'm going to turn on my handy dandy heat tool, and I'm going to heat it and roll it across my wax paper. When working with candles, you always want to have wax paper on your table or whatever to keep the wax from getting on your table. The table that I happen to be using right now is not my desk. My desk isn't here yet. It's actually like a camp table that I'm going to be using for my clean area in my craft room. So I would like to kind of keep it semi-clean because it's supposed to be for my clean area. Alright, that one didn't work for that, because that one was loose anyway, and it popped right off. Okay. Now I'm going to choose where I want my front of my candle to be, and I do believe I want it on this side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the flower to where I want it, which is right about here. Remember, guys, that these are for decoration only. You really shouldn't burn candles that you decorate. Well, you could this one because this is metal and they would just fall off, but you really shouldn't burn any candle that you decorate because it's quite dangerous. Unless you light your house on fire or whatever. I'm going to heat it right in the middle here. a little bit, and I'm gonna lay it down. And then I'm gonna heat it a little bit more. Ooh, hot. And then I'm going to leave it alone and let it cool. And there you got your metal decorated candle. Okay, the next technique I'm going to show you is lace. I have this pink lace. It's pink. Left over from a project that I did for a swap. And I'm going to use it because I don't like to have scraps around. So I'm going to use this lace and maybe a piece of another lace. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with this one yet. It's just kind of an idea that I just had. So like I said before, I try things one time, and if they work, that's great. Then they're a technique that I'll use forever. And if it's not a technique that works great, it goes into my oops book, and I probably will never do it again. So for this one, let's see if this lace will fit around it. And it does. And let's see if this lace will fit around it. Is that my door, Nani?
Yeah.
And it also does. What is that?
I got you a card.
You got me a card?
Yes.
Okay, that's my sister, you guys. We'll deal with your card later. I'm going to show you some things, so hold on a minute, okay? Okay, so we're going to try the lace technique. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put a little dab of hot glue on this lace. Not that ribbon, that's bad. See why we're called Messy Disc? Because I have bits and pieces of all kinds of projects stuck on my desk.
Wow.
All right.
You have a Joann's in here.
I do not have a Joann's in here. Well, maybe a Joann's, but not a Michael's.
I never said a Michael's. You don't have enough crappy flowers to be Joann's. So.
No, I don't have enough crappy flowers. All I have is actually your
Cherry blossoms?
Your cherry blossoms. That's all I have. I'm going to attach these two together using a little bit of hot glue so that it takes the one step out of the thing that... That's what I wanted to show you right there.
Do you edit?
No, not really. I feel no need to edit. They really should, you know.
What's our camping table?
It is our camping table. But, the desk is not here yet, so I have the camping table. Okay, that gives the top of it a clean edge. I really could do the bottom too, but do I want to? I think that I do, because I think this will probably end up in somebody's house, not mine because it's pink, but it will end up in somebody's house. But not mine because it's pink.
Pink isn't bad per se.
Well, then it can go in your house.
Well, maybe. Like the bathroom. It'll be really good in the bathroom if it's pink.
It's not pink. It's pink, but it's not like super pink.
But does it fit my theme?
Sure. When you're done with it, it might. You tell me if you like it when you're done. When I'm done. Okay, I wanted to show you that. That is a recycled glass that I made into a vase. No, it wouldn't have sticks in it for you.
Okay. I was wondering why we were trying to water the sticks.
First of all, we never use real water. We also don't use real flowers.
Can I have a better glass?
You can have any kind of glass you want to. That's just the glass that I had.
Well, I have a whole bunch of that Princess House glass that half my set got smashed.
Princess House? You want to do it with Princess House?
My mismatched pieces that I don't have sets to? Yeah. Why? Why wouldn't I?
Okay, well if you want to do it with Princess House, I'll do it with Princess House. Second,
somebody knocked one of my boxes of them onto the ground, and I got to clean up shards of crystal all over my bedroom.
that's bad. Shards of crystal is always bad. Second thing I wanted to show you was the candles that I'm making right now, actually. Which is that kind.
This is the dark crystal.
This kind that's not dry yet. And this is the third kind that I'm making right this second. Okay, now that that is together, we're going to take it and we're going to lay it on there like so. And we're going to cheat a bit and put another piece of little hot glue on here because I don't like to burn my fingers. And this really does burn your fingers if you're not careful. And I think I cut it too short. I did. That's the danger of not measuring things, which I don't. I just look and cut. Is that you could cut it too short.
I've got a question if it won't interrupt your like videotaping bit. Will that catch on fire when it burns down to that point?
Well, if you were here earlier, I would have told you, don't burn these. These are for decoration only.
Oh no, then I don't want them. They gotta at least look like they've been used.
You can light the top of them and then blow them out, and they can look like they've been used, but I wouldn't burn them. Any decorative candles like this, I wouldn't burn. Well, I would, but I'm kind of a pyro. And we're just gonna heat it. Okay, watch your baby language.
Sorry.
And two, this is an unboxing tool. She sews, y'all. She can't help it. She doesn't craft, she sews.
I made a 14th century period dress.
I made a candle. So you need to be careful with lace because lace does melt. So you got to kind of keep it a little higher than you would for the paper, which takes a little longer to get it down in there, but
that makes it kind of pretty.
Y'all, if y'all hear a slap, it's just me hitting my sister, that's all.
Is this live?
No, it's not live.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't let you in here if I was you streaming. It does because it's melting lace.
What is it, polyester? Or rayon?
I don't know, it kind of smells like fish when it's
My mom's
melting.
kind of boring, you know that, right?
That's my daughter being a jerk too. Alright, it melted the lace way too much, so you might want to wrap this in wax paper if you do this technique. That side looks good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some flowers and I'm going to stick them over the parts that I don't like. In fact, I might just do that with the copper ones that I like. That match pretty well. So where I nicely burned it, I like leaves. Hold on. Where I decided to nicely burn this, I'm going to add some flowers. Stick!
Cool to keep people from thinking I was talking to myself. I'll just tape a camera.
Do you have a problem talking to yourself?
I talk to myself all the time, but if I was talking to other people when I talk to myself, other people wouldn't mind.
Alright, baby.
Love you.
Love you too. Come here.
Yeah.
Ow!
My leg is dead.
Your leg is not dead. That's Mod Podge.
I can read.
Congratulations. Give me a hug. It's blue, baby. Give me a hug.
Glue that looks like sweat on masks.
I love you. You going to bed?
I
Night.
guess. Bye, Mom.
I'm going to glue that down. Add my silly little flowers for my silly little mistake. Because I was talking and not paying attention to my lace. There you go. Do not ignore your lace. because it will burn and become an issue. And then you have to fix that issue when you might not wanted flowers on your candle. You might have just wanted the lace. And if you might have just wanted the lace, then it doesn't look exactly how you wanted it to look because now it has flowers on it. Anyway, that gives you the basic idea of how to do that. But be very careful with lace because it does burn when you try to melt it. And you might want to do the wrapping technique like you do with the napkins. That way it turns out how you want it to and not having to stick flowers on it. Like me. Anyway, that is technique number 3, and I'll show you technique number 4 in a moment. Just a little note, that little burn that I thought was a burn was not the burn, it was the seam, and I'm an idiot. Because the rest of it is perfectly fine. It was just where it shrank, so you actually want to cut your lace longer than you think that you need it, and then put it on there, because yeah, I'm kind of an idiot. That's the seam. And for the seam, you do have to cover the seam, and I was going to put flowers there, and when I flipped it over to put flowers on the seam wasn't there, and I realized that I did it exactly the way I wanted it to, but wrong. I don't know how else to explain that, but yes, this is how the candle is supposed to look. Great, I didn't mess up. Awesome. Alright, I'll be back with another one in just a minute. Okay, this last one that I'm going to show you is actually paper. I used my piece of paper from a book. This is from from Through the Looking Glass and Beyond by Lewis Carroll. It's Alice with the Fawn. You can use any paper that you want as long as it's thin. This one's pretty thick, so I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but I'm going to try it anyway. But you can get your images from Google. You can get your images from wherever you want to get them from. Mine, I just happen to really like Alice in Wonderland, so I'm going to use this. And I'm also going to use some ribbon as a border on the bottom because I just think it'll look nicer. Right, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap on the bottom so that the wax can get through. And just like with the lace, you want to give it a little bit of slack. I didn't do that with the lace, if you remember, and I had a little shrinkage issue and covered it with flowers, but it worked out just fine. Now with paper, you want to do it a lot like the napkins, and wrap it in wax paper. I really need to clean off my desk, y'all. My messy desk is really getting too messy for me to even work on. You want to whack it, yeah. You want to wrap it in wax paper as tightly as you can, pulling all the bubbles and stuff out. Now I'll probably take this wax paper off as soon as the paper part is done. But I have found personally that the wax paper keeps it from getting too drippy. Take your heat tool again, make sure that it's hot. Ooh, that is hot. Before you start, and then you just go over it. Back and forth. Heating up the wax. She's crooked. Alright, that's annoying. So I'm going to try to do this with the wax paper, but not the thing. I'm going to try to do this without the wax paper because she slips. And I don't want her to slip. I want her to stay where I want her to be with this border. So I'm going to try this without the wax paper. I probably would have gotten better results if I would have scanned it first and then use thinner paper, but I didn't think about it. Like a lot of things that I do, I come up with the ideas on the fly and I just do it. And I am really melting this candle a lot. That is very drippy. I don't want drippy, so I'm going to roll it. Okay, so there's the front of my candle with the paper, and it is nice and smooth and nice. The back, on the other hand, I'm gonna have to face this one to a wall because without the wax paper, see what I've done is made a lot of drippies, and I've actually pulled this up too far in the back, so it will sit like this on a shelf somewhere and not where you can see the back. Anyway, that is technique 4. So you've got the paper napkin, which is a repeat. We've already done this a couple times with the embellishments. We've got the metal in a candle, which is new. The lace candle, which we learned to pay more attention and not talk to people while you're trying to craft because they're distracting. And remember, I used 2 different kinds of lace and I hot glued those together first, and I laid the lace over there, and where this seam was is where I placed my flowers. Even though I thought it was a burn, but it really wasn't a burn, it was the seam and the paper on the candle. So you have 4 different kinds of techniques that you can try. April, I hope that this was helpful to you and that you try it yourself and let me know what you think, and hopefully everything works out for you and that you really like it. Otherwise, you know, don't yell at me if you burn yourself. And if anyone out there has any ideas of things that they want to see or they want to know how to do, or just anything, send us a comment, send us a message, send us anything, and we'll try to do our best to come up with a tutorial for it. And that's it, guys. Have a great night. Again, that's paper, lace, metal embellishing, and paper napkin. Have a great night, guys.